Right, so I am here with a tutorial video for Train Simulator 2013. I'm probably gonna make a series of these videos depending on how well they come out. If you can hear like a fan in the background, I apologise. It's my fan. I need it on. It's ridiculously hot at the moment. But when you first start a Train Simulator, you're likely going to end up at this screen. It's going to show you different trains that you can buy. I have most of these because I've spent far too much money on this game. More than I'd like to admit, really. But there we go. In the main menu, main options you've got Quick Drive, Single Player, Relay, Steam Workshop, Resume, Save Game, Editor, and Game Settings. I don't deal with the editor that much. It's I believe it's for route building or scenario building. I'm not good with that. I don't use it, so you're gonna have to find another tutorial for that. But I realise my cursor isn't visible right now, so you're gonna have to look where the little bits light up on the screen. Let's go into game settings first, because these have another set of options. You've got all the main gameplay settings in the graphics. I have mine set to high detail preset. I can play it on highest, but it doesn't record very well on that. The FPS drops down quite a bit. So I record on high detail, and then the advanced settings you can change all to suit your needs. When you change the graphics settings and you press save, it's going to want to restart the game. I'm not going to do that because it will take an age to restart my game, because I think I'm going to need to reinstall it. Gameplay. Driving model, you've got expert, user hints. Expert just makes controls a bit more advanced from what I understand. User hints, I have them on. Automatic coupling, so what it says is you back up some wagons or some coaches, it's going to couple them up without user intervention. I have that turned off. Automatic fireman, what this will do is it will keep the fire stoked in a steam train, and it will keep the boiler water level up. That's good if you're just starting out, or if you just want to drive it casually. But if you want to drive the train hard, you want to get it fast, you want to get some high speeds, you need it off. You're going to have to set it manually to shoveling coal and set the water and everything. You're going to have that off to get a high speed. Exit if past danger signal, that's really worded poorly. It should be exit if signal passed at danger. But basically it means it'll end the scenario if you pass the signal that's red. I have that turned off because everyone makes mistakes and they're going to pass a red signal, and it's going to get annoying if you're, say, 2 hours into driving a scenario and you accidentally just pass a red signal and it ends the scenario. That's going to be really annoying, so I have that turned off. Language warning, don't know what that is. Maybe the game will swear at you and it will warn you about it. I don't know. Brake on overspeed, it means if you go over speed limit, it's going to jam the emergency brakes on. That's also a pain, so I have it turned off. Coupling override, not sure what that is, but I have it turned on. Audio, really not much in here. Master volume, ambient volume, and EFX. EFX is, from what I can tell, it just gives like echoes when you go through tunnels, or go through tunnels and under bridges. That's basically what I can tell about it. I have it turned on though, it sounds nice, makes it sound nice. Got on controls, mouse keyboard is what I use all the time. Control sensitivity, vibration, and invert the y-axis. That's for if you're using an Xbox control, which I don't do. Don't like using Xbox control in this game. Got the credits, I'm not going to sit there through those. Manuals, clear cache, erase local scenario career data. That basically means if you've got a tick by it, it'll erase all of that, but it'll set it back to where it was. Clear cache, this just clears out all the crap that some of the routes make in the game. You can use this one, but it wants you to restart the game. I have a little tool, little batch file that you can get from UK Train Sim, I believe it's on, and it will do it outside of the game, and it's quicker and nicer. But in here you've got the quick drive, where you can select a train that you want to drive, anyone you want, pretty much, and you can drive it. Oh, we've got that in blue. Didn't know that was in blue. Anyway, choose the route you want from any of your installed ones. So in my case, that's a fair few. You can choose any route, pretty much, and any environment. You've got time of day, weather, and season. This is pretty obvious. You're going to have fog, snow, storms, everything like that, rain, clouds, and clear again. And then seasons, there's only 4 of those, I'm sure you know what they are. One thing that the game used to do, I don't know if it still does, is when you change a route that's not when you change to a route it's not electrified, like this particular East Coast Main Line, it's not electrified. It shouldn't show the electric trains, but it seems to be doing that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's showing electric trains. It shouldn't show them because they're not going to work on there. I know this is a game, but it still takes into account for overhead power lines and third and, in some cases, fourth rails. I don't think fourth rails are included in this. Because in the UK, I think it's only really London Underground that uses the fourth rail. But yeah, it doesn't show those. So you only have overhead power lines and third rail. They're not going to work on a line that's purely diesel with no overhead power or third rails. They're not going to work. They'll just sit there and do nothing. But yeah, that's a quick drive. Single player. You have... Actually, no, I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to go into Steam Workshop first. This way you can... I'm sure you know what Steam Workshop is. You can download community scenarios to play, and a lot of them are really good. And if you don't use them, I recommend you try them, because some are really fun. They really are. Like this one, I've driven this one before. It's sort of very long, and I crashed halfway through it, so it didn't end well for me. I overestimated the braking ability when pulling a load of coal trains or coal wagons. A lot of weight behind them made the train slide on further than I was expecting. The relay. This is where it's somewhat of a multiplayer that will allow you to, like, you can drive a route to a set point and then you hand off to another driver in your friends list. They'll drive it off to another point and they'll hand back, and it'll go on like that. You have to keep to a timetable. Don't generally use that. Single player though. Got standard, career, and free roam. Free roam is what it says it is. You choose a train, you can go wherever you want on the route. You get you can set all the points to your liking, and just explore the route in the train that you chose. Career scenarios. What these do is they will score you. They'll give you a score for things that you do, like keeping on time, or arriving stations on time, keeping within speed limits, passenger comfort, and stuff like that. It will subtract points for overspeeds, improper use of emergency brakes, braking too hard, exceeding passenger comfort levels, arriving late, stuff like that. So it adds another layer of a challenge to the game. I generally stick with standard scenarios. They're what I prefer, because I don't like scoring. Sometimes it's off, it doesn't seem right to me, so I don't use it. But in standard, choice of all the routes here, it'll give you a time, a difficulty level, and what has been set for use, what loco or train has been set for use in it. And it's also got a name for it, and it'll give you a little description about what the scenario is. I'm going to go all the way down here to the Western Lines of Scotland, because I've not done anything with these yet. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to choose, let's see, what can I do? I don't want a goods trip, I don't want a freighter, I want a passenger line. There we go, stopping passenger service. I'm not going to keep to any timetables or anything in this. Right. So here we are in game now. We're starting off in the cab. I'm not going to be keeping to the timetables or anything like that, so just for the sake of these videos, but I'm going to give a tutorial of what it wants to do. So it wants me, first thing to do, pick up passengers. So normally I would be playing over here on this, my G13, but I'm not going to. There's a train pulling away. I'm not going to, because the lettering on the keys, it's not going to be useful for you. I'm going to use this keyboard. So first it wants me to pick up passengers, so you do that, press T. It'll open the doors on all the coaches. While that's doing that, the brakes on the steam train, the way they work is different to an electric or a diesel. You have to go all the way down to release, and it will release the pressure in the system. I don't know where that train's pulling away, but it's pulling away for a long time, that's for sure. It's because I'm under this flipping bridge here. It's that one over there, it's not pulling away, it's coming in. It's because I'm under a bridge, it's the EFX. But basically, you have to set this to 0 to release the pressure. Yeah, I know, okay. Set it to 0 to release the pressure, and then you have to set it to running. Because the way this works is, it's not like a modern diesel. Thank you very much for that train. It's not like a modern diesel or electric, where the brakes go to a point and they stay there and they hold themselves. When you set them to 0, they release and then close off the system. A steam train doesn't work like that. What you do is you have a valve, and depending on how much you open it, will depend on how quickly the pressure gets let into the braking system. And then you have to set it back to self-lat to hold it in place, to stop it from either keep carrying on adding pressure to the system, or letting pressure escape from the boiler, which you don't really want to do. You want to keep as much pressure as possible in there, otherwise you're wasting steam. So you set this to the running position. I have a green signal to go. Now, I think one of the things people do a lot in this game, or a lot with steam engines, is they try and treat them like it's a diesel or an electric, where you put a reverser at full like this, and then you put the throttle all the way at full. You stick up 100%. What you're going to find is, when you do that, the pressure's going to drop in the boiler. It's going to drop quite quickly, and the train is only going to accelerate to a certain amount, and then it's going to stop there, and it's not going to get any faster. There we go, 15 miles an hour. It's as fast as it's got, and it's just stopped there. It's not going to go any faster, but what it's going to do is it's going to waste the boiler pressure here, and it's going to waste a load of water. So that's not what you want to do. You don't want to do that, otherwise you're going to come into big problems. I have the manual fireman, and yeah, I have the manual fireman set, so I have to set the boiler at fire and everything myself. This, you want to keep it at probably about 60% I reckon for this train, depending on how hard you're driving it. If you're driving it hard and you're going fast, you're going to want to put more fire in there, or more coal in there, so you get more fire, more heat, so that you can boil up the water quicker and make steam quicker. But for gaining speed, you just want to get a little bit of throttle there. There we go. Set this 20-bit. Open the regulator to 20%. You see that's going down again. So what you want to do is you want to bring the reverser back. And what you see is the train will start gaining more speed, and the boiler pressure will keep going up. Seeing as I have 20 mile an hour speed limit here, I'm just gonna hold it there. And there we go. Just holding speed nicely there. And we're going down, or not going down at all. It's flat through here. But we're going under a bridge. There we go, you've got the EFX again. They do sound nice with the echoes, but sometimes they're annoying. It makes things sound loud. So I'm going to get the fire up here to 60%, and you're going to notice that the pressure will start rising quite quickly at that point. So there we go, I've got a speed limit of 40, so I'm going to put this back at 20 again. I'm not going to put full, not going to open the regulator fully, just going to put it at 20. 20 is a comfortable amount for this one. And you'll see, you'll gain speed again, quite nicely. Gain speed at a decent pace. There's my finger in the camera shot. Apologise for that. And there we go. The boiler's hit the red again, which means the pressure's dropping. It means you need to once again just wind back the reverser a bit. Another thing is cylinder cocks. I did mention. This is the second time recording this because I messed up the first time. Cylinder cocks. One thing you want to do that I didn't do. When you've been sitting in a station for a while and you pull out, you want to open the cylinder cocks. You see steam will come out the front of the train there, out the front of the loco, sorry. What that's doing is, when a steam loco has been sitting in the platform for a while, I'm making a lot of hand movements, water will start to accumulate in cylinders where they're not moving. And because water isn't compressible, it reduces the efficiency of the cylinders. So you open the cylinder cocks, yes you let out steam, but it also pushes out any water that may be sitting inside the cylinders. And it means that when you start moving, the cylinders run more efficiently. And there we go, I've just hit the safety valve. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to open the regulator a bit more. And see the pressure started dropping again there. So I'm going to pull that back. However, it's going to drop because the pressure valve's open. Hit that, it hit the safety valve. And you see, once again, gaining speed, I'm using just right click on, just for instance, moving the camera around, just right click and moving like that. There we go, moving at a decent speed now. You can also move the camera around with these buttons here. Just left, right, zoom in, zoom out. Hold control, you can switch between coaches. Or control on the left and right arrows, switch between coaches, and you can move the camera up and down. But yeah, gaining speed nicely now, doing 45 mile an hour. I'm going to stick this at 65% for that. I'm going to have a 90 mile an hour speed limit. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to see how fast I can get this train to go. When I get through to this 90 mile an hour, I'm doing 50 now. Once again, just gradually gaining speed, quite nicely. Down here, spacebar, this big old button here, it'll give you the whistle. There you go. There's the whistle for the black. This is the Black 5, obviously. So it's got the whistle there. Every train, space is going to be the whistle. However, modern trains are two-tone horns. In some cases, the bell here will actually become the second tone for the horn. Also, X over here is going to be the sanders for the wheels. So if you get wheel slip when it's, for instance, rainy, you're going uphill, pulling a big load, the first thing you want to do is back off the throttle a little bit. But if that doesn't work, place down some sand. You can hear it sort of hiss there. And if you look by the wheels, if I turn this around, there we go. If you look down at the wheels, the main driving wheels, you'll see like a little bit of steam coming by them. That's the sander. And it's just dropping sand down by the wheels to increase the traction between the wheel and the rail. So here we go. I've got that 90 mph speed limit, so I'm going to raise up the regulator here. I'm going to put more pressure into it, and I'm going to bring back the reverser. I'm also going to open up the fire again, put some more in the fire. I'm going to bring the water level back up. There we go, you can hear that hiss. One thing I should mention is, when you fill up the water level in the boiler, it's going to take away from the steam, so the steam pressure might drop. And that's normal, is because the steam pressure from the boiler is going to power a pump, which is then going to push water back into the boiler. And so things that use steam, they're going to bring the pressure down. It's going to be drain on the pressure, not just to move. The pressure's not there just for moving the train. It also heats up these coaches back here and puts the brakes on these coaches as well. In the cab, just as you would expect, you've got all the valves here. I'm not quite sure what all of them do. Like I said, you've got the valves here. You can't see my cursor, but there you go. You've got the regulator there. You can see a little pop up for it. You've got other stuff here. There you go. You've got the firebox there. And you can't see the guy shoveling, which is a shame. That would be entertaining to see. But I'm going to bring this water level back up. Here we go, doing 73 mph now. I'm not full throttle, 50%, but a lot of control. I am so sorry about my finger then. Sitting in the camera shot, I hadn't realised. And it's there as well, god damn. It's a lot of control with the reverser as well as the regulator. Steam trains, like I said, are more difficult to drive because they're more involved. You have to be constantly adjusting things to keep it up at speed. Like for instance now, if I bring this back to 20, I'm bringing up boiler pressure even though I'm pushing more back into it. And I'm still gaining speed. You just have to constantly adjust it. So they're slightly more involved than, like say, a diesel or an electric. Some electrics are more involved to drive as well. Not as difficult as a steamer, but they have more involvement in them. And so, yeah, there we go. I'm going along, good speed. Got a freight train there beside me. I haven't been able to sort of simulate any wheel slip because there's not been the conditions for it, which is annoying. It's sad, but there we go. If I press F4 and F5 twice, I can also bring up some other bits on the screen there about how quickly steam's being generated, how it's using it, or how quickly it's using it. There we go, across the level crossing. Cylinder cocks, whether opened or closed, brake pipe pressure, small ejector, water level, coal level, blower, dampers, all of that stuff. Fire mass, the water level, and the pressures that it's using. So there's that. And once again, I'm gaining pressure. The fire's up. I'm still putting water into the boiler. I'm going to get that to about 80%, and then I'm going to stop it. And we're going well. I'm going to increase the regulator a bit, see if I can get a bit more acceleration out of it while keeping the steam generated. What I tend to do is, my preference is to keep steam pressure going up in all scenarios, or in all every possibility. I'm going to be going across some points because those lights are flashing, and they're flashing double yellow, which means two signals ahead are going to be changing lines. So I'm actually going to back off the throttle here. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to put the brakes on. And I'm going to slow myself down to that 40 mph limit, which is down there in the bottom little head-up display bit. So I'm just going to gradually slow down. Steam trains don't slow down as quickly as diesels or electrics will. Their brakes aren't as good as those. But there we go, I've got a single yellow flashing light, which means at the next signal I'm going to be changing points, or changing lines across some points. And I need to be doing 40 for that. So, once again, just over here on the brakes, these two buttons, the semicolon and the apostrophe, it's going to be different for some people because I'm using a British keyboard, not an American one. And I know the American one, the @ sign there is actually up here on the 2. So, yeah, there is that. But there we go, I'm down almost at 40 now. And that last little bit, there we go, I'm going to release the brakes now. I'm going to slow down a bit more, I'm going to put the reverser back up. I'm going to open the regulator a bit as well, just to counteract the brakes, and then I'm going to close it back into the running position. And there we go, keeping up, I'm building pressure nicely. More than nicely, I've hit the safety release again. And I'm at 40, so I'm not going to accelerate anymore. Just gonna cruise along now, just coast along at a nice speed. And yeah, this is pretty much all it is to driving this train. Some trains require a bit more, some a bit less. But for this particular one, that's what it is. There you go, just changing the camera view. That was Shift and 2 to get to that view. But yeah, there we go, driving the Black 5. Now, I'm going to look really stupid if this wasn't a Black 5, because I've been calling it a Black 5 the whole time. I'm pretty sure it was. I did choose the Black 5. So there we go. Driving that. I'm going to end this here, because like I said, I'm not going to do a full route like this, but if you enjoyed this and found this helpful, please leave me a thumbs up, and leave in the comments any recommendations for what I can do in the future. I got some old semaphore signals. Still need to brush up on those. They're still a bit confusing to me. Need to brush up on what they mean. I know they're distant ones, and that's what giving me. I think with it down, it means the one ahead possibly red. But yeah, I'm gonna have to brush up on that, and I'll get back to you on those with semaphore signals. So there we go. I'm gonna come to a stop in this station. Nice controlled stop. I know I'm not scheduled to stop it, but that's where I'm going to stop myself. Just nice controlled stop into the station. One thing I generally try to do is enter stations at 30 miles an hour, but depending on the train it could be more or less. Some trains have better brakes than others. It's too much brake pressure, I've let too much in there, not concentrated. Gonna put this around 15 inches HG. There we go. Gonna drop this there. Braking in slowly. I'm actually going to let out the brakes a bit more. There we go. Nice and slowly in there. And then I'm going to stop. I believe the signal here is red for me. No, it's not for me, that one. I'm not sure. Like I said, I need to brush up on those, the meanings of them. But there we go. Stop at the end of the platform. There we go. Nice controlled stop at the end of the platform there. But like I say, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful or useful, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment on anything I can do to improve these videos, like maybe having a less shaky camera, which is slightly difficult because I don't have a tripod for my phone. I just went awfully quiet then because I'm not moving. God, I love steam trains. But yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll be out with some more videos like this if people like them. Once again, thank you.